Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. It is time for my September bullet journal setup for 2023 and I couldn't be more happy to show you guys this final setup. This was actually a video I had to film twice and that was kind of frustrating for me because as someone who puts my art online, I always kind of hold myself to a decently high standard and I want to make sure that I'm putting out really good content for you guys. So it was actually really frustrating to not like the art that I created, which is why I first want to show you this clip here from when I first filmed my September plan with me. So I actually just filmed my entire September bullet journal setup, but I hated all of it. This is a setup that I kind of already did. As you can see, there is definitely stuff missing. I just did not like the execution. I felt like these guys were a little ugly. I was changing a lot of things, but eventually I kind of got fed up, specifically on like this Dutch door over here, which you kind of can't see. Anyway, all that to say, I am definitely starting over. Let's try this for a second time. So as you guys saw, I was kind of discouraged with what I created, but I did want to talk about it on this video as I'm setting up my second but final September bullet journal setup, because I wanted to mention that like it's totally okay if you hate your art sometimes, and I feel like this is something that people don't talk about nearly enough. But like, even as someone who posts their art consistently on the internet like me, I still get really frustrated with what I create sometimes. And even though I was inspired by this gorgeous sticker sheet here that you guys can see, I did not end up using my drawings because I was just discouraged and I decided to take a different route, but that's 100% okay. So whether you decide to just step back from it for a while, come back later, or you decide to do something different, or just kind of roll with the mistakes in your art, like anything is okay. I just want to be a voice of encouragement for you guys out there because it can be frustrating sometimes. Being creative is not always perfect, but I feel like that's also part of the beauty of it, and we just have to kind of roll with the punches sometimes. I really didn't mean to get so deep in the first few minutes of the video, so let's take a step back after that and talk about my theme. So this sticker sheet was sent to me by Stickii, and I will talk about them in a minute, but I am just obsessed with these stickers, and the minute I saw them I knew they wanted to inspire my September bullet journal theme. It's a set of stickers. I can't remember the artist's name, but I put it on the screen, and they are basically just beautiful goldfish and bubbles and just super cute. And personally, I never do like under the sea themes simply because I'm not a huge fan of like just random fish and kelp and all that stuff. It's not usually my thing, but something about this sticker sheet really inspired me because it was different. It was original. Like, I've never seen goldfish drawn in this way with this color palette, but it was super inspiring. Now, Stickii did send me a pack of stickers to unbox with you guys, and I'm so excited to talk about them because they are the sponsor of today's video. But when I tell you guys, I am so genuinely happy to show you guys these stickers because this has to be one of my favorite brands I've ever worked with. The brand Stickii is obviously a sticker company, and what they do is they have different artists that work for them and send them their designs, and they make sticker sheets and different die cut stickers and stuff like that out of these artists' designs. So literally, no matter what kind of stickers you like, no matter what art style, color palette, theme of sticker, they have it because there are multiple different artists working to create beautiful, beautiful sticker sheets for a really low price. Another thing I love about Stickii is they actually have a subscription service. So every month you can choose between 3 different styles, 1, 2, or 3, or just switch styles whenever you want based on spoilers, and they'll send you a little pack of stickers that all kind of go in the same general theme. I'll unbox a couple at the end of this little haul. I have one that's kind of winter butterfly book themed and one that's more like a dragon themed. And if you bullet journal, let me tell you, this is absolutely perfect because they literally send you in a subscription box a pack of sticker sheets that work well together. Tell me that it's not screaming bullet journal theme. Like, just use the stickers all together in a bullet journal theme. It's already curated. It already has a matching color palette. It does all the hard work for you. It even has the art drawn for you. It's just a matter of putting it in your journal and it all looks super, super pretty. I will have a link to Stickii's website and subscription box in the description box below. And if you use my code BOGOMINGO, they will send you another package of the subscription box for every subscription that you purchase from a past month. So use my code BOGOMINGO, B-O-G-O, MINGO, and that'll be in the description box below. Like I said, I love this company. I was so excited when they reached out to me, and I genuinely love all of the stickers that they sent me. I can see myself using many of them in future bullet journal themes. In fact, you probably will see many of them in future bullet journal themes. So overall, super excited to be working them. So thank you to Stickii for sponsoring this video. I really encourage all of you guys to try out their sticker subscription box. It's an amazing idea for any bullet journalist out there. So let's get back into the spread. So you can see my cover page here was super simple. I basically just used one of the stickers as my art for the entire spread and made just something really small. My worry originally when I first started sketching out my theme, like for the first setup I did that I ended up scrapping, I was worried that the stickers in this case might be a little small for my original vision. So my intention was to just kind of draw images of the stickers like with my own art style in a slightly larger like format, and have the stickers, the smaller ones, just be like decorating around the other spreads. However, I ended up not being able to draw quite what I wanted to, not really what my vision was, which is why I went with the second idea. I just kind of redid the spreads and ended up just using the stickers themselves as the only decoration in all of these spreads. Like, I really didn't do any art. All I'm doing is matching colors with my markers, drawing boxes, and then using the stickers from Stickii to decorate these spreads. And like I said, I was worried about it at the beginning that they possibly would be too small, but I feel like I found a way to make them work so it looks super intentional even if the art isn't like huge on the page. And honestly, this could be argued like a minimal theme because there's not much decoration going on, and I didn't put much work in decoration. I'm literally just sticking pieces of essentially paper into my journal. But this is why I tell you guys all the time, like, you don't have to go all out to make your bullet journal look cute. And this is a reminder I had to give to myself whenever I actually refilmed the setup. But literally, you can do something really simple and still pull something together that looks really aesthetic and pretty. So that's why I'm just really happy that I had the sticker sheet to fall back on whenever I was getting frustrated with my own art. And actually, I posted a video similar to this kind of concept a week or two ago where I talked about easy ways to make your bullet journal quote-unquote aesthetic, and you don't have to go all out to make something look cute. And one of the options I talked about in the video was using stickers decorated spreads. So that video will be linked in the description box below if you want to check out more of my tips for making a spread aesthetic. But overall, I really just think this is a super easy way to make any spread pop with minimal effort. Before I get too far in this video, I do want to ask that if you like what you're seeing and you want to get more bullet journal and productivity content from me every week, do not forget to go down and subscribe below so you'll never miss when I upload next. As far as the rest of the layout in the spread goes, I wanted to make a huge calendar for September because I talked about this a lot on Instagram. If you don't follow me, you definitely should, but I just moved into college this week. So my first semester of college has officially begun. I had a first week of classes and everything worked pretty well. I'll talk a little bit more about academics in a second, but because I am in like college officially, I really am thinking about things I'm going to be needing to plan in the next couple months. So obviously during summer I had limited activities, something like that, so I didn't really need huge calendars. But for September, I knew I was pulling out a huge calendar again because I need the space to plan out everything that's going on this month. So to kind of spice things up, because I didn't just want a very boring grid, considering if as you'll go through the video, you see a lot of these spreads have a lot of grids in them, but I decided to do the calendar separated, so each of the boxes were separated from each other. A very simple way to measure out how to do this is usually I'll just pull out my ruler, and for example, if there are 15 centimeters from the top to the bottom and I need 5 rows, then I'll divide each section into 3 centimeters. You know, that makes sense. But if I need to add a gap in between, then I will just draw a little tick above each 3 centimeter mark. So it actually, each box is 2.5 centimeters by 2.5, not 3 by 3. And that kind of puts together this general grid without having each of the boxes connected. So it looks kind of complicated to sketch out and measure, but really if you just use your ruler and then add an extra tick next to the ones that separate each box to create little gaps in between, that's basically how I, in my head, visualize laying out a spread properly with all these little intricate boxes in them. So one thing that whenever I first did my bullet journal theme, the first time, and I really do keep comparing everything to that because whenever I redid the video, I wanted to make sure the second time was much improved and I learned my lesson from the things I didn't like the first time, but it does sound a little bit redundant, I apologize. But what happened was in the first one is I was using a lot of bright colors, and although I think they matched well with the stickers, I feel like they weren't usually, they weren't really my style of bullet journaling. I have more of a muted style usually, and especially for a month like September, I feel like we're finally slipping into those fall vibes, and I want to make sure that my colors are somewhat muted like that, even if it's not technically, goldfish have nothing to do with autumn, but I wanted to make sure they weren't super bright like my July theme was in the height of summer. So instead of doing a lot of bright colors, I wanted to use a lot of this muted bluish gray, which is a color that I don't use very often, but I think is very pretty. If you know me, you know that I use a lot of brown tones and warmer tones in my journal. I mean, if you look at my desk is literally a shade of beige, so I use a lot of those. However, with the sticker sheet, there's obviously a lot of orangey coral colors, and then teal, and then a grayish blue. Not a color palette I'm usually used to, but I'm open to experimentation. I really do like that I pushed myself like that. So that is why on the calendar page, although you can't see anymore, but I did little dots on every day of the week, and I alternated between the teal, the coral, and the grayish blue color to add a little bit of color, a little bit of interest, but not overwhelmingly, so it's like a neon orange page. I wanted to make sure things were balanced and muted, but still look cute. So like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I just moved into college, right? So I'm trying to figure out how I plan out my life and how that is going to be altered in university. And one of those things include an academic planning page. Now this looks very similar to the calendar, but I'll explain my system in just a minute. However, I think the transition from high school to university, I mean, there are a lot of different changes, obviously, even if you took AP classes like I did, but one of those things is there's a lot more reliance on the stuff that you do outside of the classroom than inside. Like when I was in high school, I didn't have an academic planning page like this because honestly I could do most of my work at the end of class. If I had anything I had to do, I would just like put it in my to-do list for the day and do it right when I got home. I really didn't study all too much, and if I did, again, it was just something I put in like my to-do list kind of situation. However, university is very different, and if you've been to university, you understand what I'm talking about here. It's a lot more reliance on you better get it done or you're not gonna get the grade, and you know, prioritizing academics personally, not just like what you do in the classroom. So all that to say, I needed a spread to organize all the things I need to keep track of. So I basically have this huge grid here. Now each column is a different week of the month, for example, September 4th to 8th, and then each row is a different class. Oh, and we're already flipping the page. I can never keep up with myself, but basically each row is a different class, and so in that box that overlaps, I will just put all of the to-dos that I need to do for that week in that class. For example, my first class is Film 1301, right? So I'll just put a list of the readings I need to do, any assignments I have to do, and any project due dates, all in that little box. And now this is a system that may change, but for now, I'm just trying to experiment. Like I said, it's my first semester, my first couple weeks of college, so I'll see what kind of works and update you guys next month on my possibly updated system. But this is something that I decided to add in just to have a better way to keep track of everything I need to for the school year. Speaking of new grid-like spreads, this is another one. So in this page, I have my meals. Now, I'm going to start tracking my meals this month. This might not be a permanent thing, but I wanted to do it for at least 30 days and just track what I'm eating. One thing that inspired me to do this is because I now am eating in a dining hall, so I don't really have much control over what I'm eating, but also I have an allergy to milk, so I do want to make sure I'm tracking like how much lactose I'm consuming, all that stuff. And this also goes in hand with my health tracker, which I have kept around for this month. It'll be on this Dutch store page on the right. I have, of course, my calendar, and then I have little rows where I can write anything like specific health-wise that happened that day, any symptoms or worrisome things that I'm tracking. And then I have little bubbles, I guess you could call them, that are filled in with different colors, and those are almost like a habit tracker, kind of tracking on that calendar what days I experienced what symptoms or anything like that. Even like tracking my period, I do it through here along with the period tracker I made at the beginning of the year. So I like to just keep everything pretty all in one place as well. And so this kind of coincides with the meals because, of course, if something was to go awry one day, I could possibly look at what I ate and see if there's a correlation, that kind of thing. Possibly this might be a spread that works for y'all. So I'm always trying to experiment and change things up. One, because I get bored of the spreads that I make when they are too much of the same as like the past couple months, but also because I like to experiment and see like what system works best for me. So this is another example of that, and I'll update in a couple weeks if I like this meals tracking thing and if I'm going to continue or if I'm just going to leave it for now and maybe do it in a couple years. All right, flipping over this Dutch door, and if you'll notice, it's actually a horizontal Dutch door. Most times in my bullet journal, I make vertical Dutch doors where I cut off like the right or left half of the page, but it doesn't actually mess with the like binded section of the page. I feel like that is obviously much safer for like the journal's health, if you want to call it that. However, I feel like I've been doing a lot of those types of Dutch doors recently, especially through Instagram and YouTube Shorts, because I do it for weekly spreads a lot. And so I decided, you know what, screw it. Like I'll just do a horizontal one and try playing with that in a video long form setup and give the people the inspiration they need. So I obviously have this part kind of ripped out of the top, and then I have this section that overlaps and you can see it on both pages. So this is where I wanted to put the decoration section, but I did realize that of course I was running out of stickers. There was only one sticker sheet of the goldfish that I got in the pack that Stickii sent me. So I used two of the stickers kind of facing each other. They're very similar styles of like outfits and stuff, so they kind of match together. And then I had a little quote in between them I thought was super cute. It says, "You're always enough, for a hug from a tree, a love song from birds, and a dance with the sea." from the goldfish, and this is something I saw on Pinterest and I thought it was cute, so I put it in here. Literally, it could have said the most dumb stuff, but if the vibes were feeling like a goldfish, I probably would have written it in there. So honestly, some of the quote pages in my bullet journal, like, it's less about what it means and more about what it sounds like in relation to the bullet journal theme. But I mean, like, it's cute. It has a little bit of a meaning, so I like it. On the left here, I have a habit tracker, and again, I'm alternating the colors between the grayish blue, the coral, and the teal, and I'm going to be writing all of my habits here later. For a theme like this, I don't talk about this too much, but when I do fill in the habits, sometimes I don't want too much color overloading a page, and so sometimes I won't actually fill in the boxes. I'll just draw little black dots with my pen to make it easier, especially if I don't have access to the particular markers that I use to set up this bullet journal setup at that time that I'm filling in the habit tracker. I don't want to find like clashing pens, so a lot of people like to fill in their habit trackers with certain colors, but in a case like this, I don't want color overloading the page. Like I said, this is a pretty minimal setup, so I'm just going to use a black pen and draw little dots in each day that I do the habits. And then on the right here, I have my month expenses, a pretty tall one, but like I said, I'm in college now, so I'm paying for a lot of things at the minute. So I just wanted a tall place to put down everything, and the columns are labeled date, description, and amount. So after looking at the first page of the Dutch store, I kind of flipped everything over and realized that the second page was a lot more saturated with color. So I decided to pull out my bluish gray, and instead of writing each day in the meals tracker with the skinny side of the pen, I went over them and drew little dots similar to the calendar, and then I'm going to go in with my black pen and write the dates on top that way. And this is a very subtle change, but I think it kind of grounds the spread more. There's a little bit more darker color to kind of compensate for the amount of white margin space around the page, and I think it just kind of weighs more, if that makes sense visually, and I prefer how this looks compared to how it did before. Anyway, with that being said, this is the final flip through, and I'm very, very excited. I took the time to actually go through and film the setup again. I had a little meltdown, but I think it was really worth it because I love how these turned out. Like I said, I will leave a link to Stickii down below. I think their sticker sheets are absolutely beautiful. Every artist is a little different, but it's an amazing concept, and if you bullet journal, the subscription box is perfect for you. So links below. Thank you to them for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you for watching. As always, subscribe, because 50% of my viewers are not subscribed, and honestly, what are y'all doing? So subscribe below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next week.